Amazon PPC is not that hard. In fact, all it takes is these 5 things. And if you master these 5 things, you, my friend, have mastered PPC. In this awesome video, I'm going to walk through all 5 of these levers that you can pull to change your PPC. And these are the only 5 things that you have to master PPC outside of bid and budget. Let's get right into it. Now let's walk through each of these 5 control points. Now these are the only 5 things that you can use to impact the performance of your Amazon ads. There's literally nothing else you can do outside of these 5 things besides your budget and your bids, which I have separate videos on that. So let's jump right into the first one, which is targeting. Targeting is the first thing and arguably one of the most important things that you can do to affect the performance of your ads. Now these are the different types of targetings that there are. There's ASIN targeting, meaning you're targeting another product. Keyword targeting, meaning you're targeting a search term. Category targeting, where you're targeting an entire category or subcategory or a brand. Audience targeting, where you're targeting one of Amazon's pre-made audiences. And retargeting, where you're targeting people who have either purchased your product or landed on your product before. That's targeting. Targeting is arguably the biggest lever that you can pull, but I would actually venture to argue that there is an even bigger lever, and I'm going to go over it in a little bit. That's after this next one, which is landing. Landing means where is your shopper going to land when they click on your ad? Now, if you've only run sponsored products before, you might not even know that this is an option because every sponsored product ad lands on the product listing. But if you go into sponsored brands, you'll actually see that you can choose different places for the customers to land when they click on the ad. One is the product detail page. That's the standard. The next is a custom landing page, which Amazon allows you to create with a series of different products. And the last is a storefront or a subpage of the storefront. Now, most of your ads are going to go to the product detail page, but there are times, especially when you have a really good catalog and great brand character and brand identity, when driving to a custom landing page or the storefront is better. And there are certain ad types where you actually are required to drive traffic to a custom landing page or a custom storefront. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is placement. There are 3 main placements for ads to show up on the Amazon platform, and that is top of search, rest of search, and product pages. Now, why are these so important? This is a really huge lever to pull, and the way that you affect this is by modifying the bid modifiers. There's the top of search bid modifier, the rest of search bid modifier, and the product pages bid modifier. Each of these bid modifiers allows you to make it more probable that your ad will show up in that particular placement. So if I increase my top of search bid modifier, my ads are more likely to show up at the very top of search results when somebody searches that target keyword that I'm targeting. If I target rest of search, it's going to be more likely to show up further down the page or on page 2 or 3 and every other page after that. And if I increase the product pages bid modifier, the ad is going to be more likely to show up on product pages. Now, one thing to note is that in sponsored product ads, no matter whether you're targeting a ASIN, meaning another product, or a keyword, your ad can show up all 3 of these places. That's one weird thing about Amazon that's kind of hard to understand when you first start advertising is it doesn't matter if you're targeting product pages or keywords. Amazon will show you on both product pages and search results. If you really want to show up on a product page, the way to affect that is by using the placement bid modifiers. And that's the primary way that you affect the placement that your ad shows in. All right, let's move on to the next one. And this one is arguably my favorite X factor, hack, cheat, secret strategy, unfair advantage, and that is creative. The creative can be what saves your brand if it's on a downward trend or failing, what turns an unprofitable product profitable. I have a whole series of videos on creative that you can try out, but right now let's just talk about the different types of creatives that there are. So you can have custom videos, custom images, and custom headlines. That's about it. Creative only comes into play in sponsored brand ads and sponsored display ads. Sponsored product ads do not allow you to upload creative of any kind. So this really is only something that can affect your performance inside sponsored brands and inside sponsored display. And these are the 3 things that really matter the most. Now, the one that actually is the most important is custom video. That's the one that provides the biggest results, and particularly sponsored brand custom video. So if you've never done ads with creative before and you're like, oh, what do I do? Sponsor display, sponsor brand? Do I do the custom image? Do I do custom headline? Do I do video? Just stick to sponsored brand video because that is the highest leverage type of ad. This is literally the ad that we use to just get a fully unfair advantage against all our competition. If you do this right and you have a hook in the first 3 seconds, and I'll link to another video at the end of this or in the description for you to find, if you want to do your first video ad, some guidance on how to craft the video and the creative. I have a whole series of content on this. Finally, we have the bidding strategies. There are 3 main bidding strategies: up and down, down only, and fixed. Now, when do you use these different bid strategies? Well, first of all, if you're just starting out, I would recommend just using down only, because that means that Amazon can use your bid, or if the market has less competition during that period of time, it can decrease the bid, which means your ad dollars will be spent more efficiently. Up and down means Amazon can increase the bid if it gets more competitive, or decrease the bid if it's less competitive. And fixed means Amazon will always use that bid. So when should you use these different types of bidding strategies? Down only is kind of your base. You can use that. It's kind of a safe bet to use on most campaigns. Up and down is good if you're not getting impressions and you don't know why. And you might be just because your bid is too low. You may want to give Amazon some more leeway to increase the bid or decrease the bid to find out how high it needs to be for you to get impressions if you're just not even getting data fast enough to really find out what's going on there. So in the beginning stages, especially when you're targeting a new target, up and down can be very useful there. Fixed is good for ranking campaigns. When you have single keyword exact match ranking campaigns and you really want to make sure that you're showing top of search no matter what and being super aggressive, fixed bids can help you there. That is literally it, my guys. This makes it so much simpler to think about, right? Now, every different ad type, sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display, has different settings for each of these things. But looking at it all in one place, it really simplifies it, right? At least it does for me. Outside of budgets and bids, which are their own science, and I have separate videos on that, I'll link to them at the end of this video. These are the only 5 things that you can control. It's the targeting, the landing, the placement, the creative, and the bidding strategy. That's it. It makes Amazon PPC seem a lot simpler, doesn't it? Now, obviously, it's a lot more complex to actually do it right and to plan your campaigns properly, do keyword research, and to monitor and optimize them over time. And that's where professionals come into play, like me and my team. We partner with brands to take over their Amazon PPC and grow them profitably. If you're interested in seeing if you apply to that, click the link in the description of this video, and you can apply there over on my site. Otherwise, check out this video where I walk through how to use custom creative properly to achieve unfair advantages with your brand in your products using sponsored brand ads. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.